Hey, this is Kenny from Broadstreet. Let's talk about one of the most famous rebuttals when it comes to local advertising. I do all of my advertising on social media. So there are probably a few different ways that you might instinctively handle this. For one, you could just thank them for their time and then, mosey on out. The second is that you might say, well, we're local or we have a local audience. We might not really be prepared for that rebuttal. We're not really sure what to say. When it comes to something like this, where you get a rebuttal and the advertiser thinks that's a good idea, let's not try and come back with a counterpoint. The first thing we want to do is really start to ask questions, right? So we're going to reach into our 10 Advantages toolbox. And if you haven't read 10 Advantages, it's at broadstreetads.com/10-advantages. And we want to reach into that toolbox and really remember what it is that we're doing when we're trying to talk to an advertiser. We are trying to be their advocate. We want to try and help them. So the first thing we're going to do is ask them about it. Ask about how long they've been working on social media, how frequently they post. Really just get deep into what they're posting, when, and also why. What are the results that they're seeing? What are they doing? What is the aim or objective when they're posting on social media? Now, when you do this and you learn more about what they're doing on social media, then what you can do is start to ask them questions which might make them think that there are some other ideas out there. So one of the most common might be, how can you get in front of a wider audience? So not everybody that follows you on Facebook and Instagram, or even the people that you target, if it's a paid post, not all of the people that you want to get in front of are on social media or they're not following you. How do you get in front of a wider audience? Now, a lot of times as a local newspaper, you have a wider audience, one that probably complements the audience that they already have on Facebook. So ask them, do you think you could potentially benefit from a wider audience? Secondly, ask them about standing out. When you post on Facebook or Instagram or you boost a post, you really kind of still look like everyone else. There's no way you can really get out brand impact. You go into the same feed as everyone else. And again, we kind of look into 10 Advantages and we say, what can I do that is different than anyone else? That's going to give my advertiser more value than anyone else can give them, especially Google and Facebook. So if you think about prominence, especially if we're talking to an advertiser who really benefits from prominence and being seen as number one, attorneys, real estate agents, professionals, there are lots of them. Think about what you can do that they're not going to get or they couldn't pay for if they wanted to on Facebook and Google. So a lot of times this is a bigger placement. Sometimes it's a pop-up, a slide-in. It could be a dedicated newsletter blast. These are all things that we can potentially present in terms of helping them stand out from everyone else. Lastly, consistency. So a lot of times when people say they do their advertising on social media, they don't really have a schedule to doing this. They kind of post every so often. How do you get in front of an audience consistently? So one of the beautiful things about being a publisher, in 10 Advantages, we say you can show an advertiser when and where they are going to appear. You can say, your ad is going to appear at the top of our website in this spot. It's going to appear one out of every 2 times that you load the page. We can guarantee you're going to be here. And when you're posting on social media, you can't really guarantee anything. You're kind of just hoping that they get in front of the right audience. So how do you stay in front of people consistently? This is another thing you want to ask your advertiser. Remember, we're not telling them anything. We want to ask them as many questions as we possibly can, learn about what they're doing, and then start to ask questions that help them potentially move toward entertaining us as an option.